Hello once again, and what I'm going to talk about is just say you're playing a game and you want to record it. Um, there are a lot of ways you can do it. I mean, if you're one that likes playing with the original hardware, you've got the simple solution of pointing your camera at the screen. But sometimes it's not very good. Sometimes I've tried it. I mean, one I just did now, I think it came out okay, but I mean, the best way to record something, for me, that is, I mean, everyone's going to differ. To me, it's emulation. I mean, for recording wise, it's the best. I mean, it just captures that screen. It captures what you want it to capture, is the screen. But if you point a phone or a camera, whatever you want to do, at the screen, you're going to get everything else with it. I mean, sometimes you see the camera trying to focus, so that can leave it a little bit messy. But if you're not worried about that, it's not really, doesn't matter, does it? As long as people can see what you're doing, that's all what matters. I mean, it doesn't have to be professional or anything like that. People do want to make it professional. That's, everyone's different at the end of the day. Me, I'll just record it and that's it. It's done. I tried something else today. Well, I didn't try. I've also tried. I've got a capture card, well, capture device, which I actually plugged my Commodore 64 into. That worked. Okay, the clarity is not as good as an emulator, but it did the job. It did it good. I mean, this wasn't an expensive device. It was quite cheap. I'm not going to spend lots of money on something that I'm hardly going to use. It's there for another alternative. So if I want to use it, I can. Also tried buying this. I bought this. What it is, it's a two-way SCART. So you've got the male end and the female end, and there you can see 3, 4 things. It just goes into, I think it's access video and just normal standard red, well, yellow composite. I think that's composite in it. And left and right audio. Unfortunately, I bought this for the Amstrad, so I can plug it through this capture card. Another way of recording. Sadly, it didn't work. I'm not going to send it back. It only costs 50p. As I said, I wasn't going to spend a lot of money for something I'm not hardly going to use. But it was another alternative. But unfortunately, it didn't work. I don't know if it's this or the Amstrad can't send enough signal for it properly. Hang on, I'll be back. I'm just going to pause it a sec. Yeah, as I said, perhaps the Amstrad is used to having a monitor. So perhaps this is not good enough for the signal. That's what I was supposed to say. It's not the Amstrad, it's not sending out sub signal. This is probably not good enough, because this is made for like TV stuff. And probably the Commodore 64 could do it, because I think that is used to going for a TV, as the Amstrad TPC computers are used to going for a monitor. But it works perfectly well when you plug it through a SCART connection. I mean, it works nice, but the only thing I could not do with this TV I got is bring down the aspect ratio to 4:3. It runs at 16:9, and obviously it's stretching out the image. So that's another problem. That's that the monitor is ideal, but you can't record, or you can't point a camera at a CRT monitor or TV, because you just get the flicker, and it's rubbish. It looks rubbish when you're recording like that. So that's another reason why I use emulation. It's just so easy. So with emulation, you've got the choice. You can record it in a couple of ways. You can record it and mix a microphone with it, like I usually do. But the problem is with that, you're trying to play and you're talking. Obviously, he gets distracted by the game, so you lose half the time. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying because it's hard to play and talk at the same time, and you get distracted. You're trying to concentrate on the game, yeah. So that's the way I do it. And plus, you've got to mix the microphone in, and obviously when you do that, you've got to adjust the levels, and half the time I can't get that right. And constantly, if you're using a joystick or a keyboard, which I've got a loud keyboard now, so all you're hearing is, yeah, blah, oh, this game, yeah, oh, yes, I'm going over there, yeah. So that's another factor. So you've got the keyboard or you've got a joystick. Unfortunately, I obviously changed my keyboard with a mechanical keyboard, and they're not exactly quiet. And all of a sudden, my really quiet joystick, which is a Thrustmaster, does not work with my emulators anymore for some reason, because I use that joystick and it's very quiet. So the only one that works is this. It's a retro style joystick. It's ideal for gaming, but once again it's too loud. But that's what I might have to use in future, unless I get that connector so I can use my old joysticks for the emulations. That'd be good if I can do that. But yeah, or there's another way of recording your gameplay. Don't have a mic on, just play the game and just record it. Leave it like that, or do a dub over it when you've done, sort of like you do a commentary when you play the game. You run it through, then you voice it over. You know what I'm saying? You dub it. You don't dub it. You commentate on it when you're playing it back. Did that long time ago when I first started. I just didn't like doing it like that. I don't know why. Perhaps I could have made a better review out of it otherwise. I don't know. I just preferred playing it as I'm talking about it, because that way it's easier, it's quicker. You don't have to play it. Then you've got to go through it again. So you're working on it twice. Especially if you do long reviews like my Ghostbusters ones. I don't really want to play the game then talk over it. Nah. It's always different ways of doing it. Let's say, pointing the camera at the screen. It's nice to use the real hardware, of course it is. But you can also put that through a capture card, as I said, or a capture device. Obviously, you may not get the quality, but it depends how much you spend. You might buy a decent capture device, and you're going to get high quality videos. Could even get high definition. This can't do high definition, so it only does up to 4:3 aspect ratio. So it can't do widescreen or nothing. You can tell by looking at the connectors. This video and these composite. Is it composite? I don't know. So you're not going to expect high quality, but we're all different. We all do things different ways, and that's what makes YouTube great. So everyone thinks differently, and it's, you know, more variety that way. But what is your best solution? How would you record? I mean, to me, emulation is the best for recording. Of course, it ain't going to be as good as playing on a real system. Of course, it ain't. But to me, it's the next best thing. I mean, the game works exactly the same. You don't have to wait for the disc. You don't have to wait for the cassettes to load because they're disc emulated. So to me, there's a lot more plus points recording through emulation. A lot more plus points. But there you go. Anyway, end of this video now. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, and goodbye.